Go home, go hard, go home. Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, go home, go hard, go home. Yeah, these championship rings on my hands now. In my head I'm top 10, yeah, that's hands down. You a squad, know you're looking man down. Funny how foes turn to friends now. Drive a race car like a Atari now. Call filling up, I need product again. Treat the business like a playground, might slide on you. Do me wrong, might slide on you. Do a backflip, cause I'm mad rich. I'm the definition of what that is. Go hard, go home, go hard, go home, go hard, go hard, go hard, go home. Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, go home.
Listen, you go hyper, you go home, baby. What is up? And it's the Texas Longhorn Fan Battle Podcast. We are back. We got so much to talk about today. Listen, the title of this episode is We've Got News. Tim Wayne.
Yeah. This is
lots of news. Lots happening on the 40 acres. We'll obviously get to that. It's a big week for the 40 acres. But first and foremost, Tim Wayne, for all the naysayers, we've had Matt Brown on this show. For all the naysayers,
yes, have
college football is real.
Yes, sir.
It is coming out. I've watched the teaser trailer about 50 times.
Yeah.
And every time I'm hyped.
Yeah.
Tim Wayne, how you doing today, man?
Listen. We told you. We've known it for years. Okay. Now we've had some doubters. Tim, Harish, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. I'm like, are we not ex-EA employees? Right?
We are.
We are. Their
marketing has not changed. Listen, no matter how good or how bad EA has been in the last 10 years, and you know what? They've been pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. No matter how good or how bad they have been, their marketing plans, the way they release things. Now, I will say today was a one-off. I did not expect that today. You know, we heard some rumors about, like, you know, you might see some schools like officially announce that they're going to be in the game. I did not expect a teaser today. That was nuts.
I definitely expected a blog post for sure.
I didn't expect a teaser like that.
No, that's what I'm saying. I just expected something, you know, saying, "Hey, look, basically exactly what that teaser said." You know,
the way it was presented though was phenomenal.
I don't know who was the head. I don't know who the head of I don't know who is creative over this, right?
Yeah.
But the way that this was presented, and we've always, as an ex-EA employee, it's always been kind of weird how EA has gone about their marketing. And
Yeah,
as much as I'm a fan of some things at EA, I'm also very critical of some things at EA, and that's a part of being a fan, right? If you're not able to do those things, then what are you why are you a fan of anything, right? You
right.
should be able to do both.
Yep.
What I've always been a fan of is how they've marketed video games outside of American sports. So, i.e., FIFA. When I think of FIFA and how they market FIFA, it is absolutely nuts. The way they release trailers, posts, social media posts, everything is top notch.
Yeah.
And I would say the closest second has always been college football. Now, Madden back in the day, in the heydays, early 2000s, mid 2000s, hey, it's always nice, to see how they've done it. But listen, college football has always been to me on another level. We live in a college town,
Yeah.
so
We do.
it is kind of different when you live in a college town like Texas. It's genius marketing, way to keep it to the chest. There's been some things that have come out we weren't 100% sure, so we didn't speak on it.
We will go in depth. I've got some screenshots.
Oh yeah,
I've got some details that I want to. I purposely left out the A&M uniform. I don't want to see that shit. We're not showing that shit on
the A&M uniform
looks just as boring as their college.
Man.
But hey, before we get started, Tim, let's pay some bills.
Yes, sir.
FanBattlesports.com. We are brought to you by FanBattlesports.com. FanBattlesports.com, the place where you can get the latest and greatest on the AFC South, including the Mayo Eaton Titans, the Texans who came from behind, the Jaguars whose quarterback likes to choke, and the Colts who don't have a GM that knows what he's doing. FanBattlesports.com. Please go there, visit all the teams from the AFC South, and of course, pay attention. Find us on Monday nights with the AFC South Fan Battle podcast. Each individual show, our team has their own podcast as well. Of course, we have Longhorn Fan Battle podcast. If you're interested in joining the network, please fill out the contact form, and we will set you up with everything that you need to get started, get going. FanBattlesports.com. Follow us on Twitter. We are at LH Fan Battle. So follow us there, and we will, we interact with everybody. Some good, some bad. We've actually had a lot. I don't know if you saw, but I actually meant to send this to you.
Okay.
But there is a quarterback that we just offered in the 26 class. Not the guy from Tennessee, another guy. We offered another guy, and he posted a video today of like him throwing the ball.
Okay.
I think his name is Taylor Kuhn, John Kuhn, something like that. You need to go check this guy out. You talk about guys that like to zip the ball in, bro. Right. That dude zips the ball.
Is he from Texas?
No, he is from North Carolina, I think.
Oh wow, okay.
Troy Hun. He is class of 26. From Mission Hills High School, California. Sorry, not. I just made up some statement. You asked me. I was under pressure. He is from California, but he is 6'4", 205. He's going into his junior. He's going into his junior year. But this guy, that dude could zip the ball.
And he comes on 2 years.
Yeah, he's a junior this year. He got offered. I guess today by Sark.
Who did he get? Who has he gotten offers from? Is the
let's take a look. So Troy Hoon. Let's see. I'm doing this on the fly, so give me a second.
Yeah.
was try to see if he's on Rivals yet. I don't see him on Rivals.
Profile?
Huh?
No Rivals or 247 profile?
He's got a 247 profile.
Okay.
I'm actually trying to find it right now. Let's see. Player search. Here we go. Troy. Okay, he does not have a profile. Oh, 20. That was 25. Just kidding. Give me a second. So, yep, here he goes. He is not rated yet.
Okay.
He's 6'4". He's got offers from Oregon, Nebraska, Cal, Arizona State, Arizona.
So the entire West Coast.
Penn State, Texas, A&M, Indiana, San Diego State, UCF. That's so far who he's got. We also have another guy from the 26 class.
I see you, Gus. That's Malzahn. I see you.
Yeah, we got another guy from the 26 class that was offered. Let me try to see. I'm trying to find him right now.
Okay.
His name is Jared Curtis. Now,
right.
Jared Curtis is from Tennessee, and this guy is supposed to be really, really good. Like, one of the he will end up being. I don't know if he's going to be the best. He's actually right now right at the top pro style quarterback in the class. He is Jared Curtis. He's listed so far as a 4-star.
Okay.
He's got an offer list: Alabama, Florida State, Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, A&M, Colorado, LSU, Miami, Michigan. Bro, this guy's list is like he's got like 70 offers so far.
Jeez. Okay.
But he is right now. It looks like he's leading in Georgia. Is kind of the guy that's kind of out of the leading out of the box, I guess you could say. But yeah, we got our first 2 quarterback commits. So now we're looking past Arch, right? So this is the next guy. Listen, Texas has got 2 guys that are one guy that's on campus, right? KJ Lacey, Trey Owens.
Yeah.
Who'll be on campus later this year, and then KJ Lacey. And we still don't know what's happening with KJ Lacey, right? KJ Lacey is committed to Texas. He's obviously in the 25 class, so he hasn't signed yet. And he's been visiting some other places. So we'll see what happens with him. But Sark has said many times that he is focused on 75% of this roster needs to come from recruiting.
Right.
That's a number he's put out there.
Yeah. I think that's how you're supposed to do it, right? Like even prior to NIL and the transfer portal and things, like you would see, maybe you might see 5 or 6 people that would come in from either transfers or grad transfers and things of that nature. And they would come in and they would not necessarily be role players, but some of these guys would come in and be plugs at at major in major spots. You know what I'm saying? So it is a good thing to that he has a number like, hey, I want to get these young guys an opportunity, but I also want to, if I can get depth at a linebacker position or the line the defensive line or maybe in the offensive line, wherever you need depth at, that's really important to be able to go and dip in that transfer portal. And we've seen it. We've benefited a lot from it, especially within the last year.
Well, this season we've benefited, right? You take a look at the 3 guys. Hell, we'll start at wide receiver. That was the biggest question going into next year as soon as the season, right? You lose AD, you lose Worthy, Jay Witt, JT. We've solved our wide receiver problem. It's fair to say through the transfer portal.
I think what Sark has done at the wide receiver position is probably one of the most impressive things, if you ask me, when it comes to the transfer portal.
Yeah.
I mean, from going years back, like Adonai Mitchell, we had a potential to land Jordan Addison, Xavier Noir, I forget his first name, but we know he's transferred out, and we wish the best luck to him. He just so happened to get injured twice. That wasn't necessarily the greatest thing, but I mean, he was on a roster. So
Right.
that is a good thing to see, is that there are playmakers, and we have added really important pieces within the last year. That's really been a great thing.
Yeah, and we'll continue to supplement the transfer portal as a supplement to the roster.
Right.
But that brings us back to follow us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Longhorn Fan Battle. Listen, we are a growing channel. We've got a pretty solid following as far as Twitter goes. We want to build our YouTube following. We do live shows every Thursday. Listen, we are a all Texas sports podcast, right? We're gonna obviously lean heavily on football because that is where the program is thriving right now. Listen, Texas athletics go as football goes, because this is the state of Texas. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
We'll touch on. We got some basketball to talk about here in a little bit. We've got, baseball starts tomorrow. The ladies softball team moves all the way up to number 2. If you look at the latest softball rankings, the Big 12 in softball is going to be a dogfight.
Oh yeah, Oklahoma is no, and this when it comes to Oklahoma softball, like they ain't no slouch, bro. Like,
they're the best in the country. Listen, I hate Oklahoma, but I'll give them that.
I give them, again, got to be able to give credit where credit is due. Oklahoma softball is
really good. They're really good.
They're tough. They're real tough.
And beyond, obviously Oklahoma State is ranked number 4.
Yeah.
In the latest softball rankings. So, I mean, if you take it beyond that, you still there's a bunch of teams from the SEC in there. I'm trying to find the rankings. I forgot where I saw them. Obviously, we posted them, but I don't remember where I got them from. But anyway, Texas was ranked number 2, I believe. D1 softball rankings. Oh, here we go. Let's see if it's here. And here we go. D1softball.com. Okay. So in the latest rankings, just to kind of put it out there again, I don't understand how these rankings are put together.
Right.
But Oklahoma 1, Texas moves from 5 all the way up to 2.
Right.
Tennessee is 3, Oklahoma State 4, Georgia's 5. So as we look to the SEC
is going to be a dogfight.
The SEC is going to be brutal, not just in softball, but in baseball as well.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. It is going to be rough. Listen, when it comes to softball, the powerhouses, Florida, LSU, Vandy, Arkansas, those
South Carolina, like these are really
good. You always throw them in there. Of course, you want to go back to the West Coast, Nebraska. Who's another rough opponent?
Stanford.
I always forget.
Never forget Stanford.
Yeah, Stanford. They're really good. Yeah, it's a number of teams, and just going into the SEC, from a softball standpoint, that's going to be hardcore. It's tough every year. Oklahoma's in it almost every single year. LSU, I remember a couple of years ago, Texas women played against LSU, and that was a dogfight.
It was rough.
One of the games we got straight up embarrassed. I'm not even gonna lie, but luckily we were able to kind of rebound and make it, make it a series. Unfortunately, we didn't come out on top, but it was still a great series. So yeah, I look forward to it.
The one thing I want to call out is after we demolished UCLA, they dropped all the way down to 22.
Ooh.
I'm surprised they didn't drop out of the rankings.
That's kind of hard. God damn.
I mean, we did beat them 16-0.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
So,
yeah.
Texas baseball season starts tomorrow. I'm very excited for this baseball team. Obviously, LeBaron gets to start tomorrow, and I think it's Oh shoot. Danny Davis posted this earlier. I believe it's Hurley goes on Saturday. Sunday is still unknown.
Okay.
So obviously, of course, we kick the season off with LeBaron Davis. He's the best. He's our best pitcher. He's probably one of the best.
Definitely one of the best in the country.
One of the best in the country. He's obviously the best pitcher. One of the best in the conference. One of the best in the country. So we will start off with him. Let's see. So LeBaron Johnson tomorrow. Charlie Hurley on Saturday, and still undecided on Sunday. Tanner Witt is available, but Tanner Witt's obviously the other guy other big-time pitcher that Texas is supposed to have on this roster, who underwent Tommy John surgery last year, missed the season. He's supposed to come back. Again, they're trying to be very careful because Tommy John is one of those things. Some other things, it looks like Jared Thomas will start at first or center on Friday, tomorrow night. We don't know where. And then it looks like Max Bellew will start at right.
Right.
So there's some things that are in, some things that are out. Again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know college baseball because I don't. This will be the first time that I follow college baseball very closely.
Right.
I will be watching, as a Texas Rangers fan, because we don't suck now, like watching baseball is fun. So I will be watching college baseball. I need to obviously understand the logistics of college baseball. I don't understand like the ins and outs of it.
Right.
We will actually try to have Nash Talks Texas on the show. He's big on the college baseball stuff. So we will bring him on at some point, and we'll talk more college baseball. I'm still meeting with him to come up with the date to get him on to talk college baseball. So Texas starts tomorrow, 6 p.m. at the Dish. 3-game series this weekend versus San Diego, and then we get it kicked off from there.
Yep.
All right, Tim. Let's talk fun stuff.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about the news. So earlier this week, I believe I want to say it was on Monday or Tuesday. So Chris Del Conte, I think this is really cool that he does this. By the way, he basically gives us a state of Texas athletics, right?
Right.
And he basically in this town hall, it's very similar to like what you would see, a State of the Union, if you will.
Right.
I don't want to go through the entire town hall because it was an hour and a half, and the last like 30 minutes was a bunch of people in the crowd asking stupid questions.
Right.
Listen, I love you guys. We're all in the same fan base, but some of you guys just need to get a life, and some of you guys need to chill. So I won't talk about everything that went on, but I do want to highlight some things. And while I pull this stuff up, what stuck out to you from the press conference?
We announced it over the as it was happening. The new practice stadium. So obviously, for local fans, if y'all are aware, during the Mack Brown era, one of the cool things that Mack Brown was able to do was Mack Brown was able to get a practice field, which was something that was not available during the previous football coach's reign or his tenure. So Matt getting a practice bubble was really big. Matt getting a smaller practice field outside, although it was in a funky location. It is in a funky location right off the access road there to 35 there, 35 South. Kind of funky. Still a really cool spot. They've made it really private so that they've got the ivy in front along the outskirts of the gate, so you can't just go and watch open practice.
Of course,
yeah.
In classic Texas fashion.
Yeah. So it is a nice facility. Nothing wrong with it. Is it a little outdated? Yes. From from a standard of what technology has now and what Texas has been able to, I mean, let's just go with technology. The way people are throwing up buildings in tight spaces is crazy now.
Yeah.
We've seen it with the Moody Center, right? The Moody Center, where the Moody Center is currently, used to be part of a hospital parking garage. It was, and nobody I know for a fact that I've lived here for my entire life, with the occasion of two situations. Um, you just don't. It's congested down there. So to
Yeah.
see that Chris is like, I'm going to take this field and this is what I'm going to do with it is very, very impressive. I'm really impressed with what they're doing and where they're putting this. It's basically I think the bubble will come down if I believe, and
Yes,
then
it will come down.
it,
I don't
it
think
will
I don't think initially, but eventually I think the bubble will come down.
right.
Now, this isn't replacing the bubble, if I'm not mistaken. This is going in right. They're trying. So part of this is making it easier to get from the practice field to the stadium.
Right.
Right. The other part of this is, and eventually as grass, which is another thing we'll talk about. Grass is coming to DKR in 26. Right. They've got some things that they need to finish 24, 25. Obviously, this project needs to get done. And then 26, we will get grass in DKR, and obviously this has to be done first because as they don't want to. When you put grass in, for those of you guys that haven't been in sports or know the difference between why astroturf and grass, it's used differently. Blah 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 blah. When you put grass in on a field, you have to be very careful and use it sparingly because grass gets ruined very easily, especially the CDC talked about the marching band, practicing on the field. And these are things that can't happen. So this facility also helps other parts of UT utilize this field versus utilizing the grass.
Yeah. Grass is always an important thing. I personally like grass. When I did play football, it was one of the better things to play on. Now the upkeep on it is, I think a lot of people and with a lot of things that have happened in the past is the reason why people initially went to turf, astroturf, especially, which came around again in that early 2000s, like 2005, 2006, around there. We really started to see an uptick in astroturf. I know when I started to see it, I was in high school, right?
Yep.
So it's an easier upkeep. You can break the astroturf down, take it, and then swap it out, right? You don't have to worry about painting it a bunch. You can go and touch up. Of course, you're on a field, you got cleats and people running all over the place and tearing up the astroturf. So yeah, that's a good thing. But just grass in general, it is easier. A lot of people will tell you it is easier to play on. I agree, it is easier to play on. And even though the grass is like dirt and actual grass, there is something about falling on astroturf that is absolutely ratchet. It just like the bouncing that you get is just it just doesn't.
You mean like when you get tackled or like when you do anything?
It's just like your body just doesn't seem to like grass. You kind of got a little bit of a cushion. It's like an absorption from grass, right? Mm-hmm. Versus astroturf where you just kind of like bounce. I remember when Colt McCoy was playing and he got hit. And this was the first year that we got that astroturf. And he was just getting bounced all over the place. Now, was it bad play? Absolutely. He was trying to do too much, but he just didn't. It didn't help him in the end. People talk about the uptick in concussions from the astroturf, which luckily I've been blessed. I've never had a concussion.
I had a concussion in middle school on kickoff. It was so bad I forgot I was supposed to go in on defense.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
That is absolutely terrible. But
Or
yeah,
not? Was it, yeah, middle school. It's 8th grade.
yeah. I mean, again, it all looks great. I really enjoy. I think Chris. The most important thing is that Chris is listening. Okay,
Yes.
there's a number of things that you want to talk about as well, but
Yeah.
he's listening, and that is the most impressive thing.
That is one thing I really like about Chris Del Conte is he's a great. He takes fan feedback, and we will talk about one of the things he's talked about. So, obviously, the fan first menu prices, they are dropping the prices, or they're trying to keep the prices of a lot of different things affordable, right? So it
Right.
looks like their fountain drinks, um, you know, some other stuff looks like popcorn, candy, $3.
That's
Hot
awesome.
dogs, $4. It looks like ice cream, pretzels, cotton candy, $5. Cheeseburgers, $8. And then, of course, I think large drinks are $9. This is very affordable pricing.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I'd like to see looking at this, you know, I really would like to see sodas come down. I think $9 is still a little bit pricey. To be fair, just being honest,
Right.
I'd
So
love to see. I'd love to see. I'd love to see that come down for sure.
okay. So here's the thing. Here's two things. If the sodas, if the large cup is a commemorative cup, right? If it is a game day cup, I still have a game day cup from last year's spring ball, spring practice.
Okay.
It was $9, but it was first off, the cup was really, really good.
Mhm.
It is a sturdy cup, and I believe, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but I believe that cup also came with free refills.
Okay.
If it
That's
is in
fair.
if it is in if it's $9 and you're able to get free refills, I'm kind of cool with that. I have no problem with that.
That's
Now, if
fair.
it's $9 because you got a cup, cool. Now, also, I did, $9. It is in the middle of April. Unfortunately, we do live in Texas, so it was 90 degrees outside. I needed something to drink. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to go back and forth
Facts.
trying to get a small, get a 20-ounce bottle of water that I'm gonna kill by the time I get back to the state, to my seat. I would rather not deal with that. I would rather just get a bigger cup and have at it. So if that's the case, where it's
Mhm.
also a commemorative cup, but you also get the free refill, I'm cool with it. I
Okay.
think you will see more people buying that $9 cup than paying for a $4 one. And
That's
also,
fair.
and also, I mean, a box of syrup for a soda is not expensive,
A
especially when
box of soda. Yeah.
like what the syrup for the soda,
Yep.
especially when you're buying it in bulk. It's not expensive. I think you're looking at uh $12 a box if you're buying it in a set, or a pallet of it.
Right.
So it's not like you're losing money, right? You're getting the
Sure.
money back. So and if it's a cool cup, it's gonna sell. Just
I mean, you think about that. You go to the movies. I mean, a lot of places do this. You go to like Disney World. You go to
yeah,
theme parks. It's a common thing to do. But I get the
I also
commemorative
understand the
piece, the
times
free
right now.
refills. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
also it's the times, right? And I think that's CDC acknowledges that. Hey, we know things are getting pricey. Price gouging is a thing. I don't care
mhm,
what anybody says. Listen, inflation rate's like the closest to 2% it's been in 4 years, and it's
yeah,
supposed to get down to like 2.2,
right,
based off like the most recent projections. These companies are just price gouging everybody, and it's getting ridiculous.
yeah,
But
yeah,
the really cool news, and this was very, very exciting news. Ticket prices are going down versus going up for season ticket holders. So you can see what the different price ranges are. For the Centennial Club, it's only 105 per game, which is, again, I think that's a pretty good price. The
right,
Texas Club is 105, Touchdown Club is 105. and then you get down to tier ones, which is this section right here. It is $91 a game, Tim, if you are in tier one. These tier two spots, $75 a game. Tier
Now,
three
to
is
be
$50
fair,
a game.
we have been very lucky as now you live quite a distance from the stadium.
I actually only live 30 minutes away.
I live 7.
Okay, well, I mean, I've always lived about 30 minutes away.
We've always had an opportunity to get really good tickets.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know why we've been able to find some great tickets, but we've gotten really lucky. I've heard people pay like thousands of dollars to go to certain games, and I was like, man, me and Harish was on the phone debating if we wanted to spend $50.
Wait, do you remember that one year you and I went to the Texas-Oklahoma State game?
Yeah, we
literally
like
an hour before kickoff. We're like,
yeah.
You know what? Fuck it. We're going to this game.
Yeah, we paid $35. I remember that.
That was great.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to try to get season tickets this year. That is my goal. So we will see. I think information about season tickets, I believe he said, was going to start rolling out for returning season ticket holders. It was going to start rolling out in March or April, I believe. March 15th. There is a timeline here. So if you are a returning season ticket holder, you can expect news on season tickets, I believe, in like early March. So not like the next couple weeks, honestly, right? The next 2 to 3 weeks, you can expect information to be handed down. March 14th is season ticket renewal date. So I'll post an image of this on our Twitter page, and I'll try to see if I can get it on our YouTube channel as well, just so that people know. Tim,
what's up?
Do you remember Mike Elko talking about how Texas A&M was the flagship college in Texas?
Absolutely.
I love CDC's response to that. And as a Fan Battle Network, right? We pride ourselves on talking shit.
Do you have it queued up?
Of course I do. Why wouldn't I? I'm just pulling it. What were you thinking this was, Tim? This is the the Longhorn Fan Battle podcast, bro.
Right.
This would not be a podcast if we didn't talk about how small Texas A&M is on the map. And now I can't share my screen with you guys because that is not cool. But this is what I call brilliant marketing. Look at this. Look at Texas versus everybody else. I mean, LSU gets their little glam and glory. I also found it very interesting how this is an orange, and it also has the Texas logo.
Yeah.
But beautiful. And you know what's even funnier? That's not even where Bryan, Texas is.
It's not.
And Bryan, Texas is it's like out here.
Right.
It's like in this area out here. So not only did he put him in the wrong spot, he put him down as a little dot. This is brilliant by Chris Conti. And as a Fan Battle podcast, we love it. This was excellent.
Yeah. College Station is nowhere in that vicinity.
And I don't think Texas gives a shit. And that's what they're trying to prove. That's what they're trying to show.
I mean, yeah, College Station is like go to Houston and then in the northeast corner.
It's like over here somewhere.
Yeah. It's like in between Austin. It's in between Houston.
It's in this area somewhere.
It's like, it's not.
Probably close to where my mouse pointer is. But hey, I don't care. Chris doesn't care. And you know he like this map fully shades OU and fully shade even Mississippi, which is split between Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Mississippi State got their clear south half of the state. This is excellent. So
Yeah.
This is what Chris Del Conte thinks about the flagship of the state of Texas, and I thought this was brilliant.
Well, there was somebody else that put a post on here that I was looking up as we were preparing for today's show. And basically he had it flipped the other way around. He was like, "Oh, all of the other rural parts of Texas don't necessarily like Texas at all."
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, I
don't care.
I'm like, bro, listen, being a Texan and being from the state, I don't even think that guy was from Texas. He just liked A&M. Being from Texas and actually being in some of these small states or some of the small cities, like Dime Box, Texas, which is one of the smallest cities in America. It's only a couple blocks. Okay. They're rooting for their Longhorns. They got the burnt orange flag flying high. Okay.
Yeah.
It's flying high. I've been through Waco where the Baylor Bears are at. I've still seen Texas flags.
Oh, yeah.
Through there. So it's like you can't base, because College Station is in the rural part of Texas. Let's just be honest. You can't just base that off because of what you know. I've traveled throughout the state and I've seen a lot of them allegiance to, this University of Texas. We all know Austin, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, the big cities, right? They're going to have more. They have sister schools too. UTSA, UT Arlington. When I mean by UTSA is University of Texas San Antonio, University of Texas Arlington, University of Texas El Paso. So yeah, they have sister schools that funnel into the University of Texas. So come on with this. Why are we wasting our time on this?
Because all right. Well, that was CDC's press conference. Overall, very good. At the end of the press conference,
it is lengthy. So if you guys want to watch it, it is on YouTube. It is lengthy, but it is very informative.
Yeah, watch it like you watch a movie, right? Take a little intermission break. I would, full transparency, only watch about the first 45 minutes of it because that's where all the information that you probably care about is.
Right.
If you want to hear all the stupid questions that are asked at the end, you can listen to them. I did watch the entire thing and I asked about the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bother. Don't bother.
Yeah.
All right, Tim. So, Texas women did their piece and they took care of Houston yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Like
they've been doing all season.
Listen, I cannot wait until Harmon comes back next year. I think this Texas team will win a national title in the next. They might do it this year, but I definitely think next year they're going to win a national title. I think this is going to be the best team in the country next year with Harmon back.
Right.
But with that being said,
I do have some breaking news.
Okay.
Caitlin Clark set the scoring record against Michigan today.
I saw that. Now, is it the most points all time in women's basketball?
I believe so.
Previously held by Diana Taurasi? Or Cheryl Swoops? One of those.
I can't remember. I can't remember. I know Cheryl Miller was she was not only in attendance, but I know she was up there in points in NCAA because she was a beast at USC. But I can't remember who was the top dog. Maybe it was Taurasi.
I feel like Diana Taurasi was number 2.
Anyway, shouts out to her. I guess. She's been getting a lot of love. She's been getting a lot of hate. Um, you know, she's been in Iowa for a while. She's done some pretty crazy things in Iowa. They they're what 24-3. Texas is right up there too. They're number. I want to say they're number 2, number 4.
Iowa's currently number 2, I believe. Yeah.
Iowa's number 2. My bad.
Yeah.
Iowa's number 2.
South Carolina's 1. I'm sorry. Iowa is number 4. South Carolina's 1. And then number 2 is Ohio State, 3 to Stanford, 4 Iowa.
5. We're 23-3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah. So I and Texas has the opportunity to avenge one of those losses.
right.
Actually, like in a couple weeks, they go to Oklahoma.
Yeah, and to be fair, again, the Big 12 and basketball again has pretty much stood out for the majority of the year.
Yep.
You got Oklahoma that's 18-6. You got Texas again 23-3. You got West Virginia that's 21-3. Kansas State that's 21-4. Iowa State. Listen, Iowa State women's basketball is never really slouches. Again, we know what Kansas is able to do right now. They're struggling. Baylor, not too far behind at 18-6. So the top half of
Big 12
is tight. Like
it's very tough.
You lose a game, you could go from 1 to 3. Especially with the conference records the way they've been looking, and it's been really impressive. Man, I will say one thing I do miss about the Big 12 is I will miss Kansas versus Texas. That has always been a thing.
I hope that becomes a non-conference game.
I hope so too. I really do, because I do want to see that. I really do enjoy Texas versus Kansas. So that is one thing I'm going to miss about the Big 12. Whether it's men's or women's basketball, I'm definitely going to miss that.
It'll be a while, right? It'll be.
Right.
I think there'll be some. It's like breaking up with a girlfriend, right? There'll be a couple. There's some girlfriends you break up with where you just need some time to heal, and then you might come back together, right, as friends, right?
Right.
So that's out there.
Y'all might even date.
Maybe you will. Who knows? Now again, Texas playing Kansas non-conference will just be them dating, right? They go out on a date, but it's like a once-a-year date, right? So, but let's talk about this Texas versus Houston game.
Yeah,
Texas obviously loses to Houston at home earlier this year, like a couple weeks ago, in overtime. A game I think they should have won.
They didn't look good down the stretch, man. They lost a lot. They started off horribly too, which was another thing.
There's a couple things about this Texas team that frustrates me. They've started the last 3 games, especially, right? And obviously they dig themselves out of it versus TCU, and they lose to Iowa State. But the Houston game, honestly, ever since BYU, they start the game off slow. They end up getting blown out by BYU, right? Don't let that 12-point finish fool you. BYU blew them out.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
Then they lose to Houston, a game they should have won. They lose in overtime. Down the stretch, this team, there's two things. They've started really slow.
Right.
And down the stretch, they have not been very good.
Absolutely.
Whether it's shooting, rebounding, it makes you miss guys like Matt Coleman.
Right.
It makes you miss guys like, Timmy Allen. It makes you miss just guys that can do certain things that this team has not been able to do yet. You don't have a guy that has the ability to slow the game down once things are getting too fast.
Right. They just seem to be fast paced,
which is cool. It's a lot of fun to watch, actually.
It is fun to watch. We know what they can do. They're athletic. That's not the problem. It's just dude, what? If y'all are not into and to be fair, and you probably watch more games than I have. It just seems like if they're not getting points in transition, they're not really getting points.
They don't really have a great half-court offense. The half-court offense is basically passing around for a little bit, and then And then if Dessou and Abmas are not scoring, this team is not scoring. That's basically what it comes down to.
Right.
Listen, the identity of this Texas team is, and people might not believe it. Believe it or not, I think this Texas team plays excellent defense for a majority of the game.
Yeah, we know that. We know that they don't really, they have had struggles at times. We know that they don't really get into foul trouble.
Yeah.
We know that they're really good at drawing fouls because of how the style of play that they have, right?
Correct.
We know that, and we know that they're really good at the free throw line. But for whatever reason, that offense is, if it's not hitting, it's not. It ain't moving. We saw it last week, okay? Right. We saw what they did against West Virginia, which we know West Virginia was one of their losses.
They benched it very well.
Well, they went in, played a solid game of basketball from start to finish.
Played very well.
But
West Virginia sucks. It's what they should have done the first time they played West Virginia. So again, yeah, but if you look at like all the good teams, this team has played a lot of really good teams this year.
That schedule's been pretty rough, dog.
And they've lost, right? They lost to UConn, number 5 in the country, by 10. They basically, Shaka Smart basically, kicked them in the ass. Mm-hmm. They lose to Tech, a game they should have won.
Right.
They lose the UCF game is the infamous Horns Down game. They lose to West Virginia, and then they lose to 21 BYU, number 4 Houston, but they've also beaten some, and then obviously Iowa State, but they've also beaten some really good teams, right? They dominate number 11 Oklahoma, and if you get that Texas on Saturday, I think they could beat Houston. Listen, I'm not particularly a fan of the way Houston plays. I don't think they're that good.
Okay, so here's the thing. One thing we do know about Houston, we do know that Houston knows how to play close games because we've seen them.
Correct. That's basically what they do.
They can play a close game, and in the end, when Texas did have a surge, because closer to the end, I would say from the middle to about the end of the fourth quarter, they were up. Texas were up, not necessarily by a large margin, but they were still up. They were up by 2, 3. I think they even got up by 5 at one point in time. They call a timeout, slow the game down. Boom, Houston's right back in it, and we just what? How is this happening? Why is this happening? But yeah, man, I really hope that we come out motivated and we don't come out slow. That's been
to start off fast.
I think that has been the number one thing all year is that they've come out so slow at times, and they've been trying to pull themselves out of a hole, and it doesn't look good. They end up playing sloppy, turn the ball over. Can't do that.
So guess how many ranked teams Houston has beaten this year?
4.
2.
Oh, wow.
Guess how many ranked teams they've played? 3.
Really?
Houston has had a weak schedule. Here's in Big 12 play, here's the teams they play. Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, Texas, obviously, Kansas State, UCF, TCU, Iowa State, a game they lost. And that's been their conference schedule. Here are the ranked teams they played. They beat Texas Tech, who's no longer ranked.
Yep.
They beat BYU by 7.
Right.
Kansas beats them by 13. That's it. Houston's schedule has been weak. They got the benefit of the doubt in the Big 12. They haven't played Baylor. They play Baylor in a couple weeks. They play Iowa State again. Oh no, they play Baylor next week. So next week's. So they get Texas on Saturday. Right. But on Monday they turn around and play Iowa State, and then next Saturday they play Baylor.
Right. And we've played a pretty daunting schedule. We played
a
Louisville that was ranked at the time. Yep. We played UConn after that. Then you come down a couple of weeks later. We play Marquette. It's number 8 currently. We do go to a Texas Tech. We lose. They were ranked. We did beat a Cincinnati that was ranked at the time. They were in the top 20, but they're currently not ranked. but we did beat a number 9 Baylor currently, a number 11 Oklahoma currently, a number 21 Baylor is where we lost. And then, of course, we had the ugly loss against Houston where they should have won, but we turned around and was able to put a cap on TCU that was talking trash. But we did play an ugly game against Iowa where we started out terrible.
Yeah.
I think that the beginning of that game, and you were live tweeting the game, they started out like 12-2 or 12-4. Something just real stupid. Like they were turning the ball over again, not getting the rebounds, weren't shooting great. Now, did it balance out at the end of the game? Yeah, but that's not how they started. They didn't start great, but they finished great. Like nothing adds up. So it's like
but it's too late at that point in some of those games, right?
Right.
Houston's a veteran team. They've got some guys. They're a very deep team, and that's what really helps them. But
they got some guys out of Conley, man. They got some guys out of Maynard. They went and got some talent, man. And
they
get better.
They will continue to get that talent.
Yeah.
Because Texas will not work. Listen, basketball in Central Texas and Central Austin is actually really good. There's a lot of very good high school basketball teams.
Have you seen what they're doing at Stony Point? Have you seen what they're doing?
Bro, Stony Point has always been a good basketball school. Conley has always – listen, I went to Conley. Conley has always been a great
Conley, and maybe we can get Coach Williams on here. Conley has a couple of kids right now that Texas is looking at potentially.
On the women's side, right?
They have one on the women's side. They have one on men's side. Where they of course, unfortunately, they can't talk to them right now because of age restrictions and things of that nature. But once they become of age, they get up in that sophomore, junior year, late sophomore year, late junior year, they're gonna be looking to add them.
Texas needs to. I think basketball is a little bit different than football. There's not as much out there.
Right.
I think it is imperative that you get guys in state when it comes to basketball, especially if you get these four. Like Dylan Dessou went to Pflugerville.
Right.
But if you remember, Dylan Dessou didn't commit to Texas. He transferred to Texas. Right. I think there were some other things that were involved there, but he ended up going to Vanderbilt for a year. And then he comes home, right? So, but Pflugerville is like 20 minutes from campus.
Right.
These are the guys you have to.
It's a straight shot.
Literally.
It's a straight shot off the highway.
You have to get these guys.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Does Texas go into Houston and pull this off?
I'm hoping to see a motivated team. Again, I'm hoping they have the same energy they had against West Virginia. If they could go in, and they're able to, I don't even care if it doesn't have to be a big win, but having that win shows a lot of it makes your schedule look that much better, right?
Yeah.
They've played a lot of ranked teams. Texas got it's like I said before, it was a gauntlet. And if they could pull this out, especially late, I think this increases their chances of getting a better seed. Of course, if you can pull out winning the Big 12 championship, right, in the Big 12 tournament, that would be even better.
I mean, that's a lot different, right? I think winning the Big 12 tournament this year is going to be extremely difficult.
Yeah,
because I think there's more rounds this year. You've got 14 teams or 16 teams instead of the regular 12 or 10. Right. But if they win the Big 12 tournament, they're probably a 3 or 4 seed.
Right. And I think they have an opportunity to do it. Of course, there's some things that need to work in our favor, right? But I just hope that they are able to go in and play a complete game. Kind of reminds me of Texas football, right?
Yeah.
It's like you come in, you come in, you're playing, just play a full half, like 2 full halves. Give me 2 full halves, and I believe that they can pull it off. If you come out and you BS the first half and then you try to play catch up, I don't think that's happening. And Houston will step on you.
Yeah. It's going to come down to Dessou and Edmis She's playing really well, and you need a third guy.
Right.
You need a third guy.
Right.
So Texas is actually their six of their last 8 opponents have been ranked. They're actually 3-3 in those games.
Yeah.
So listen, they can and they beat number 9 Baylor. They beat number 11 Oklahoma.
Right.
Like, so they're not, they can compete with any team in this conference.
Absolutely.
They could probably compete with any team in the country, honestly.
I believe so. They play the
except
defense.
for UConn. I think UConn's just significantly on a different level than everybody else.
I mean, yeah.
But you've got to rely on Abemus and Dessou to lead the way. That your identity is 2-man basketball with the third guy. One third guy has to, contribute 10, 15 points. And I think you're fine.
Right.
And you've got to rebound in crunch time. You go and Shedrick, the guy's like 9'2", dude. I could out rebound that guy.
Yeah.
It's got to stop. Like,
yeah,
you're way too big. And I know Texas isn't a big team. In the front court, but they've got to rebound. So
yeah,
I actually think Texas wins this game. I do think they've got a week off. They've had some time to kind of chill. They know they can beat this Houston game, and they know they let the last one slip away.
Yep.
I think they win this game by like 2. It's going to be very close.
It's going to be close. ESPN has them like at a 7% win rate. So
I don't care what ESPN does. They're stupid. I don't listen to anything they do. I don't follow ESPN anymore. I literally can't tell you loud unless it's watching a game. I don't watch ESPN.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's why we have YouTube now.
Yeah.
Now we can have the option to watch smart people talk about stuff.
Fair.
Speaking about talking about stuff, let's talk about why we're all here.
That's it.
All right.
That's it.
So when I woke up this morning, I was, just scrolling through my phone, just seeing stuff, and all of a sudden I saw a post from somebody that showed that they had it in light mode because I use dark mode,
right?
And it was the screenshot of college football. What did it say? It said college football is coming this summer, full reveal in May. It was basically the header of the EA Sports College Football Twitter page. And I had the yellow check, which I know is legit. I was like, all right, let me just go make sure, because we know people make fake stuff.
Right.
Fake pages. So I go to the EA Sports College Football page, and boom, there it was. And that's when I sent our little group text, the screenshot.
Right.
Not even 20 minutes later, a teaser dropped.
Yeah. Yeah. That was awesome.
All hell broke loose. Listen, yesterday we talked about how, there's reports Matt Brown put out there that, hey, schools are going to start coming out and saying that they're participating, they're doing this, they're doing that, just to ease the fan. Because the biggest thing all along was it's fake. It's not really happening. We haven't heard from EA in really 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. Over the last couple months, the president of EA is saying, yes, it's coming, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, the game was supposed to come out last year. They delay it to this year. And they're like, yeah, this isn't coming out. Walk me through your feelings around today. Because this is a huge news day. This wasn't just a couple of articles from schools. This was a big news day.
Yeah. I never wavered. Like I never wavered. Again, being an ex-EA employee, I did poke around, try to get some stuff from a couple people. I wouldn't say I was successful, but I still tried. The fact that they didn't. So here's the thing: the fact that the questions that I'll answer and that I asked, and I'll keep that private. The questions that I asked, they didn't say no. So that says a lot, and because most of the time, we used to get questions all the time. We'd be like, no, that's not happening. But the fact that they didn't say no really kind of stuck out to me. So I didn't expect to get a teaser like I stated earlier. I expected just a blog post, just like they do with everything else.
They gains by blog posts. They market their gains by putting out little articles,
Right.
little teasers, little trailer, and a lot of it says, "Hey, X, Y, and Z is happening on this date," and
Right.
that's when they explode. So in
The fact
May,
that they went out of their way to do this means a lot.
yeah, and just the presentation of it, I loved it. By the way,
It
I thought
was
it was.
smooth.
I don't know who the guy was that was in the trailer. No idea who he is.
Yeah.
I wonder if they just like, hey, I wonder if he's a dev. I don't think he's an actor.
I thought he was a dev too. I was like, he's got to be a dev.
They found like the most correct, charismatic, presentable dev on their team, and it also makes me curious: is that one of the guys that on College Football Revamped? That would be very interesting to find out. I don't know,
Right.
but it was awesomely presented.
Whoever the guys are at College Football Revamped, the EA really needs to go and take a look at what they've done, and they need to either hire those guys and figure out some way to work with these guys, because their community is strong. The Revamped community is nasty, and
It's huge.
It's
Yeah.
huge, and it's the thing, like they might be the best fan base. I'm not joking, and I'm not just saying this because like we're talking about them. The College Football revamped fan base might be some of the strongest, and yet one of the coolest communities out. The 2K community, trash. They're the worst. Madden, almost non-existent now. Who else is there? FIFA. Good Lord. Okay. Like I don't
We're a bunch of toxic. We're a bunch of toxic.
Those guys are toxic. Okay. So I don't want, I would say the probably two best fan bases is going to be, sorry, Amber Alert, is going to be the College Football Revamped and believe it or not, the MLB The Show. And that's because that's a great game. People love that game.
There's some things wrong with that game, but I play franchise mode in that game and I love it.
Franchise mode is the best part.
It's so good. It is so good.
Single player games. Like, yeah.
So a couple things. So there are a couple guys that are actually advising. They brought on a couple guys from College Football Revamped to advise on the game.
As they should.
I would not surprise me. There is a community manager posting for EA College Football right now, I think.
Are you serious?
I think. I need to go back and check. And it would not surprise me if one of those if that position is for one of those guys.
Man.
It would not shock me at all.
Man, that would be a dream. You know, that's always been my goal, is to be a community manager. I would hate.
I'm going to be honest with you, Tim. I would hate to be a community manager. I especially for any EA title. I ain't dealing with any of these assholes in any of these communities.
Well, that's the thing, man.
But
that's the thing. We know community managers, right?
We do.
We know community managers. We know how they handle things. I think the way they, especially the skate community manager, he's awesome.
He is, and
he's able to move the crowd. Like, dude, he was just out in California giving out skateboards to the skate park. That's awesome. That is how you are supposed to do it. If the community manager is not at these football games, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Can't sit from a perch, dog. And that's why this teaser hit so well. It was great. It was ground level, dog. It was ground level.
So simple.
It was ground level. It was simple. It wasn't bare. It was like we love college football because of the pageantry, right? However, this was very surface level. And I mean, weren't too many. weren't too many things shiny. We didn't see a bunch of bands and stuff. They paid homage to the past video games. I don't know if you noticed that, but
They did.
when he hit the marker, when he changed the marker from 14 to 25,
Yeah.
that was smart.
Loved it.
That was smart.
If you look at some of the stills that they showed of like for example the gator, right? That gator was in 14.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The gator, them tapping the top when the Michigan tapping the top when they come out.
Right.
Or Notre Dame, not Michigan. Notre Dame tapping, like those were some of the most, and it's the same stuff, but it's rendered in a new way. Right. That's paying homage to saying, hey, this stuff, not only is it real, but these are the things that you remembered for 14. Right. And this is what it's going to look like in 25.
Right. I mean, I remember how the college football game advanced, right? And it seemed, and again, this is me being critical, this is me being a fan. It seemed as when EA Sports College Football was going one direction with introductions, impact players, that stuff that they use now, right? Like that stuff that if you like that is like a crucial part of the game. Like when the impact player came out, and that was what was that 2004 2005 when impact player became out, when that became like a thing.
06 because that was the big that was the Desmond Howard cover,
right? Yeah. So as it just felt like as a trajectory, it just felt like EA Sports, NCAA was going one way and Madden was going the other. Okay.
So these are just some of the stills. I really like this still. This is obviously Big Al, mascot for Alabama.
Right.
I love this still. And the reason why I like it so much is because it shows the level of detail on the mascot. Right. It's not just about, just putting somebody out there, but if you look at the paws on the mascot. And remember when we had Matt Brown on, he talked about how, EA asked the schools for renders or not renders, but like assets of their mascots, the fields, the little things that they did in their stadium.
Right.
If you at the end where he talked about, where he said, hey, the crowd is listening and the crowd is yelling, and you hear like a soundbite of crowd noise.
Right.
Oh my God, dude! There's just so much detail, and this only took them a month to put together. There is so much detail. If you remember last month, there was rumors of like
we see the stills. And that's what we asked Matt. We asked Matt about that, right?
Yeah.
When we had him on.
Is this a real commercial? There's rumors of a commercial happening, blah, 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 blah. And then we never heard from them again. Right. We haven't heard anything. And then, but you could tell the level of detail in that that's just a teaser.
It was a minute and 43 seconds.
It was insane.
Right.
And then you can hear obviously him stitching up the EA, the college football 25, just to say, hey, this is the name change. NCAA is nowhere in this game, confirmed. Like the NCAA logo is nowhere. Like this is EA Sports College Football 25.
Right.
Which makes sense because like we said it when we started this channel. We believe the NCAA is going away.
Yeah, we've been saying that for a long time now. It's just in the NCAA, like again, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but the NCAA is like basically kicking and clawing to keep their hand in the mix, right? With the new discussion of like how they want to do NIL deals, like again, I don't see, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, I don't see where each of these conferences, they disassociate themselves from the NCAA. They come together and they make a conference. They make a league, and then they have a commissioner. Maybe it's Nick Saban. We don't know, right?
I think that's where we're heading.
Maybe it's Nick Saban. Hell, the way Chris Del Conte has been looking, maybe it's Chris Del Conte. Do we want that? No, we want him as an AD, right? But
I don't ever want him to leave. But that's not realistic. That dude is way too smart.
Honestly, I really hope that he stays until he cannot literally walk anymore. Like the stuff that he's done with since he's been here,
yeah,
has been absolutely phenomenal. From being like Bevo Boulevard to just have the sponsors, getting HEB more involved, which is a Texas local store, getting them more involved, getting these donors to donate, to ask for more money. Like there's never been a time where I've seen donors more excited to give than now since Chris Del Conte has been here, right? Yep. We know Red McCombs. We know he's big time, right? But he's asked for more, and they've happily given it to him, and you can see where it's going, right?
Yeah.
To have a State of the Union in the middle of winter, basically, is pretty impressive. Most of the time, you don't get this until after the spring game. You don't get this from your AD, but it's so much. He's got so much. He's got his hands in so much as an AD. He has no choice.
Oh, he does have a choice, and he does have it. He could choose to not tell us anything.
That is true. Absolutely.
And he chooses to tell us actually a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if other schools do this. Quite honestly, don't really care. But it's the way that he has changed, and he's only been here for what, 5 years?
I would say maybe 6.
5 or 6.
It hasn't been 10 years. It has not.
No, not even no. Because I know he came in 2 years before Sark.
Right.
So Sark's going into his 4th. Yeah, so it's probably been like 5 or 6 years.
Right.
And he hasn't even scratched the surface yet.
Right.
So Chris Del Conte is awesome. We know the NCAA is dying. So them changing this to college football to 25 is not surprising. It also gives EA a lot of flexibility.
A lot of room.
Essentially whatever the hell they want.
A lot of room. Lots of room. We've seen what they've done with we've seen what they've done with EA Sports Football Club. I think EA Sports Football Club,
a long way to go with that, but to your point,
I'm just talking about the freedoms, like the freedoms,
types of cards and Ultimate Team that are available,
right?
Way different than what we've had in the past, and
right,
really, really cool. Right. So there's obviously some other issues with that game, but that's a toxic community, and that's something
absolutely
I'll keep to myself. But I mean, just look, this is a game that isn't in development. This is probably alpha. And this is the Michigan jersey.
Dude, I'm gonna go on a limb, and I'm gonna say right now that game is gold already. Almost gold.
You think college football 25 is gold?
Okay. Here, not gold, but almost gold. So think about,
we're in February.
Right. So I'm basing this off of Madden. So think about a time frame, and you remember this. Think about a time frame where we were able to actually play Madden and it was fully functional.
About 6 months before the game. Like, I remember one year we played Madden 11. It was either 10 or 11 internally. We played Madden 11 in January. Game came out in August.
Right.
Madden beta came out July.
Right.
So, I mean, if the game comes out, and I bet you they've been playing this game internally since maybe November, December.
I think they delayed it, dog. That's what I'm saying. If they delayed this game for a year, actually 2 years, they delayed this game for 2 years. Okay. And if they delayed the game for 2 years, to me, that means this game is almost gold. It's less than 6 months out from July. Okay, we got to think realistically. We're past Valentine's Day, which is the halfway mark. The end of this week, we only got one more week or a week and a half to go in February. After that, it's March.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, we're in March. We're 4 months. We're 4 months out, dog. We're 4 months out, and they've delayed this game twice, dog. And again, I'm not saying that the game is not. We know why they delayed the game. They wanted to add as much detail as possible.
It's
right?
all, yeah. I think at this point, it's all. I think the core game is done.
Yeah,
I agree. The core, the Ultimate Team's built out. Dynasty mode's built out. Superstar or Road to Glory mode is built. I think those are all built out.
Those are ready to go.
Those are ready to go. This is all little bits and pieces. The assets. This is, believe it or not, this is probably the easier stuff to do, right? Comparatively so to building out an entire mode. These are the easiest things to do. Rendering of jerseys.
This is my only fear. My only fear. And I don't know if this is public facing or not. So I'm going to tread lightly when I say this. Do we remember if this game is going to be current gen and previous gen?
No, it's just current gen.
Okay, thank God. Okay.
PS5 and Xbox S or X.
Thank God. Okay.
PC's not even confirmed yet.
Okay. Well, okay, that's fair. If this is what's the truth, then this game is gonna be amazing because because this is one thing that being critical, I don't like the fact that EA holds on to these old consoles. Everybody else has moved on, and I get it. EA is the Death Star, right? It's the largest video game publisher in America.
Yeah.
In the world. We get it. We understand it. So, like, you don't want to leave people behind. But we're 4 years, about to be 4 years in from the PlayStation 5 and the Series X. I just saw Target had a bundle. Target had a bundle for the Xbox Series S, the digital version, was $200. And you get 3 months of Game Pass at $200. That's amazing. You can turn in one of your old consoles right now. Okay. Turn in one of those old consoles. You probably get about $60-$70, and you're still able to not have to drop out $250 for a Series S. Now, is it the full shebang? No, but you're still getting a great deal because you're getting Game Pass. So if you don't have the digital library, you still have access to this library, which is growing in size with the acquisition of Blizzard. So there's a deal there. There was a deal over the holidays. We saw PlayStation's going for $400, $432. So
you can get either console wherever you want at this point. They are now being
listen, is over.
This is in every industry, but cars are on car lots again. When we were driving to San Marcos the other day. We passed like 3 or 4 dealerships. Cars are everywhere again.
Well, cars are sitting too.
Yes, but there was a point where lots were empty.
Right.
But so cars sitting, and they're sitting for a much different reason. Them sitting is a lot better than not being available at all.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Graphics cards. How long did graphics cards not become?
Oh my God! I remember
it was the worst.
It was an everyday battle for you because you were looking to get that graphics card.
Yeah, to build this PC.
Right.
We are at a moment.
For this game that's coming out in particular, for this game alone.
To play College Football Revamped, I built the PC. Well, also for podcasting, right? We are at a time in the market and just general availability where things are available again. So, listen, I agree. There's game, and I think companies like EA, 2K, the larger companies, were being wary of making availability for old gen just because of how the market had been for so long. I think we're now finally getting out of. I don't think Madden's going to be available on old gen this year.
It needs to be let go. I think Madden is suffering because of that. Because you have to deal with ports They have to deal with cross-platform. They have to deal with a bunch of things, and we know that because we've seen it. Like although those consoles, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One were good in their own right, like they're outdated, man. Like
Honestly, they really weren't that good, or else they wouldn't have gone so fast to the Series S and PS5 as fast.
I mean, they were around for 7 years, right? They were around for 7 years. They weren't around that long. Normally, a console life is about 10
10
years
to
with a
12
revamp
years.
within the 4 to 5
Yeah.
range.
Well, yeah, and there's rumors of a revamp of the Xbox Series X. Actually, I need to finish watching the.
They confirmed that. They confirmed it. Okay. Well,
Don't
Phil
care.
Spencer confirmed that months ago.
He did, but I want to listen. I haven't. There's the business
press
update.
conference.
Yeah,
Yeah, I watched it.
I'm still. I haven't finished it yet.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, so don't ruin it for me.
Okay, but
But
let me
back
ask,
to this game.
let me ask you
Yeah,
this.
what you got?
With the information that you had, the information that you had in the past, the experience that you've had with EA Sports, what do you expect? Because clearly they said it's coming in May, right? So that means that there's, RIP to E3, that would have been a great place to put that
Oh, yeah, it
information.
would have been excellent. Yeah.
But we've known that there's Summer Game Fest that's kind of taken over for E3, where people are
anyway.
it's not the greatest, but
That sucks.
dude, let me get my shit off.
I was going to tell you how it is, Tim.
Yeah, I know you are. We know that we know about the Summer Game Fest, and it's basically kind of taken over for E3. We know that EA, Microsoft, and the big dogs all eventually release some type of press conference in June.
Yep.
We know that. Being that they're going to do something in May, what are you expecting? One, do you think they would go more in depth in June if there is an EA play? And three, what do you think is going to happen from this point on? Do you think they go back to being completely silent? Do you think they throw something out there again, like something in April to get you a little hype? Or do you think they drop this teaser and then go right back to being silent? To me, the best thing to do is drop the teaser, go silent. Don't say nothing.
Yeah, I think that's what they do. Listen, we know EA is very tight knit when it comes to their information. You barely get leaks from EA.
Right.
Barely get leaks from EA. So I expect them to go silent for the next 90 days.
Okay.
And 90 days is a long time, but it's not a long time.
Right.
I mean, hell, we've waited 11 years, so I think we're good here. I think the next steps are there won't be an EA play. I don't think they wait until June because I think that's too close to when the release of the game is going to happen.
Okay.
I think we get something, again, I'm going to predict based on what I saw in the trailer, the little director's cut, it said 18.5. I think we get something May 18th. And I think we get a full gameplay trailer on May 18th. So that is 90 days from today. And it's going to have gameplay. It's going to have little stills, or probably, you know how like trailers work where they show you like little things in a franchise mode. It'll show little things in Dynasty mode. It's going to show things in Road to Glory. It's going to I think we get a 3 or 4 minute trailer on May 18th. I'm sticking to that. So that is 93 days from today.
Okay. But May 18th is on a Saturday.
I don't care. I think this is the day we get something. And you know what? Saturday makes a lot of sense. You know why? College football happens on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Your biggest audience will be able to be available. People are not working. A majority of the people are not working. College football happens on Saturdays. So why not reveal the game on a Saturday when people expect something, when it would make perfect sense for something to happen on a Saturday.
Listen, I would be completely honest with you. I wouldn't expect anything on a Saturday, especially a trailer from a video game company. Normally,
All they have to do
normally,
is schedule it.
oh, well, we know that. All they have to
Yeah.
do is schedule it. We worked in social media long enough to know that all they have to do is just hit a button. It'll be scheduled to go out on all channels in one click.
Yep. And
So
EA is infamous for releasing stuff and walking away. That's what they do.
we do know that to be true as well.
And then they address it the next Monday.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying we get the whole thing in 93 days.
93 days, we get all of it. I don't think we get, but then it supplements with like, you know how Madden does like,
Yeah.
this is franchise week.
Things that are
Like about a month before the
so
game.
You don't think we get a blog post at all? You think that they completely take a different route from what they've done in the past with Madden?
Oh yeah. No. You're right. We'll get a trailer with the blog post.
Okay.
And they're not going to call it Gridiron Notes. They're going to call it like Campus Notes or something like that.
Right.
And then you get you get that May 18th, and I think starting like the first week of June, you'll get like weekly focused blog posts around each mode.
Do you think we get a beta?
I don't know, man. I want to. Everything in me says it makes sense that they have to do a beta. Have you seen posts today from people like saying, "Hey, like this post or whatever, and you can get a NCAA 25 beta code."
Mm-hmm.
That makes me believe there's a beta coming, and I think a beta is coming sooner than later.
Okay.
So when does usually the Madden beta happen? Like June?
Madden beta. So there's usually two betas.
Right.
There's the private beta that if you've been a part of the beta in the past, it will let you be a part of that beta. And then there's also the public beta, where the public beta is open to the masses. Now,
that's where they give out the codes and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. Where they give out. This is that public beta is a part of the marketing strategy. Sure. We all know that. And for you guys that don't know, that is where they really get people hype about the game, whether it's positive or negative. The real meat and potatoes is in that private beta where they get about maybe 10,000 codes out. You can't stream it. You can't do anything about it. You can't do anything. You get an invite, you get the code, you redeem it. After that, it's up. Like that's where you're going to get the most detailed on what needs to be fixed, what needs to be addressed, and you pretty much go from there.
So do you remember how the FIFA beta works? Where it's like an entitlement on your account, only you can get. I think it's going to be like that.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be open. It's like I don't think it's going to be just give anybody a code. I think you're going to get an entitlement. You can access it.
Right.
You can't share it with anybody.
Right.
If you stream it, all that fun stuff. I think it's going to be that. I think they're going to keep that hush hush on it. But when did that public beta happen? What is that, like 2 months before launch, a month before launch?
The public beta happened in June. And it happened
2 months before launch.
It happened at the end of June. It happened last year. I remember I got a code. I got it. I was busy, so I didn't realize I had the code until later on in the week. But the code came out at the last week of June, and the beta was for 2 weeks. But here's the thing though, I only had Ultimate Team. I didn't have franchise. You know how they do. You know how they
but they open it up at the end, right?
They open it up at the end for the public beta, but for the private, I only had Ultimate Team.
Oh, okay.
And that pissed me off because I wanted to play the regular beta, just because I wanted to see how good my team looked, right? So I wonder if they're gonna do that. I am really interested in Ultimate Team. Ultimate Team on NCAA 14 was fantastic.
Oh, so good.
It was really good. So I want to see how they do it, and how they go from there. I really feel like with this NCAA, and I know this is saying a lot. This NCAA has got a lot riding.
Oh yeah, they know it,
This
and I think they
this
realize
is
it.
gonna make or break. You either going. This is either gonna make
EA can take back off, right? And I think that goes into Madden. You have to nail NCAA because you have to nail Madden.
right.
Everything that goes into Madden is going to come directly from NCAA. Again, Madden, there's rumors that Madden's focus is superstar mode. Why? That makes a lot of sense. Road to Glory is coming back. So
Right.
they need to completely be able to shift. You know, Dynasty has to be really good because you got to move those drafts. You remember how awesome it was to move draft classes from NCAA
Yeah.
to Madden?
Yeah.
Like they can't have like the bugs that we saw with the draft classes this year in Madden cannot happen.
Yeah, that can't happen.
Things like that cannot happen.
Yeah.
I bet you there's a sense of customization that's happening this year. It is. I don't think we see the Team Builder website come out anymore because it's a thing of the past, in my opinion. I think we see it in the form of what Madden shares.
I would. So here's the thing. I would like to see the Team Builder website. The only reason why I would like to see the Team Builder website is because
makes it faster.
It was so much easier to get.
Yeah.
I've never been. Listen, I love college football, and I loved I loved NCAA because it was so much easier to get in there and custom. Dude, I remember being at EA, sitting there when I'm not working, just being able to just customize uniforms, throw a logo up on there. I was playing semi-pro football. I could take my semi-pro football logo, throw it up there, throw the logo on there, and be able to just upload it, go home, hit the button on my Xbox, turn the game on, and it automatically uploaded into your game.
Yeah.
How nuts is that?
I don't think if we do get Team Builder, it's not going to be this year. I think Team Builder.
No. I don't expect Team Builder to be this year. Yeah, I expect Team Builder to come later in the future. And honestly, if it
might
ain't
even be 2 years from now.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you just want to simply revamp that, of course, update it, make it look pretty, all that good stuff. But go from that point right there. Like you can.
I think the problem will be it's the same thing with the game, right? The code for Team Builder is 10 years old.
Right.
They have to rewrite all the code for it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, let's update it. Let's just make sure it's not broke. Let's not. One thing about the Team Builder website that was awesome as well is that it wasn't over the top.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Very simple. You had a set of colors. You had uniforms. They updated the uniforms. They would throw different types of uniforms in there, and then they went on about their business.
You know what I'd love them to do? Just because you got to keep up with the times.
Right.
You could just do like the basic Team Builder, or you could pay like a premium service for the lifetime of the game and get like crazy.
I mean, that's what College Revamp does.
you know how like people like come up with like crazy. Graphic designing and Photoshop. It's a thing in sports now, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a Nash Talk Sports who loves to put out videos, who loves to put out like custom stuff, you can have like a special like developer mode in Team Builder to help you do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like that one, but you have to pay, $50 for the lifetime of the game, and you have to pay that $50 every year.
Hey man, I know there
would be so many people that would be
people like Kyle. Like Kyle, like Nash, that would
they would eat that shit up.
That would flip that. We would get new Texas jerseys.
We'd see old Texas jerseys. You get custom Texas jerseys.
Custom Texas jerseys. Black Texas uniforms. Black Texas uniforms. The burnt one on burnt orange. The burnt orange with the stripe. We've always wanted something a little extra, and they've always given it to us, but they've given us to us in spurts. I remember that one year when we played Oklahoma, I want to say that was 2009, maybe 2010. We had the gold stitching on the jersey. That was a big deal. It also had the gold Big 12 logo. I remember when we adopted the uniform that we have right now, where we moved the Longhorn from the side over to the middle.
Yep.
That was a big deal. Adding the Big 12, the new Big 12 logo, because we did have the older Big 12 logo for a long period of time.
Yeah, I don't care about the Big 12 logo.
Of course you don't. I mean, we all want to see that SEC patch, right?
I can't wait to see that patch, bro. And you know what? You know why else I think that second week of July, it has to be that second week? Because I think they have to wait until July 1st.
Oh, I'm talking about SEC media days. That's going to be a prime.
No. I get it, but Texas and OU don't officially move to the Big 12 until July 1st. So they have to wait because assets wise, they aren't allowed to use those new assets until the 1st.
That makes sense.
That's why I think the game comes out the second week of July. But that's just logic. Listen, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about NCAA or EA Sports College Football over the next 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
5 months. We are very excited for this game. I know we went over by a lot. We really need to have. I'm going to try to get Nash on here. I'd love to. Nash is huge on college football. He grew up with it just like we did. So we'll definitely have an idea session. We'd love you guys to join us. I'll just talk about ideas about the game. But before we get out of here, Tim, where can the people find you?
I got one more thing that I want to bring up. I don't mean to hold everybody up, but there's one thing that was been brought to my attention that I think is pretty crazy. Okay. If you go to the EA Sports College Football account on X or Twitter, whatever you decide to want to call it, and you look at the followers on there and who they're following.
Yeah. Deion Sanders, blah, blah, blah.
It's only 7 people. Ed Reed, Charles Woodson, which remember, I said Charles Woodson could potentially be a cover athlete. Ryan Clark, Michael Vick, Robert Griffin III, Coach Prime. That's it.
That's interesting.
And remember, I did put 2 and 2 together a couple of months ago on Roll Off Media. They had a meeting with Coach Prime in Orlando. They flew from Colorado to Orlando to have a meeting.
Well, so, I mean, I posted on here earlier today. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to end up being on the cover, the base cover.
I'm starting to kind of feel that same way.
I think Shedeur, and this was my prediction, Shedeur will be the base. I now think you get the last 10 Heisman winners to be on the Heisman cover,
right?
And then you get a legendary edition of some sort, and Nick Saban will be on there. I think it's 3 editions.
I would not be surprised if Nick Saban and Coach Prime are on that cover.
That shit would piss me off.
They've done so much together. They've done.
That would piss me. But I think you're sending a message, the wrong message that way.
Why would you say that?
Because the message that I get from that is the legend passing the torch off to the next legend. And I'm sorry, Deion Sanders is nowhere close to being on that level.
I mean, it's not to me. It's not even about that. I get what you're saying. To me, it's saying 2 things. These are the 2 hottest names in fucking college football. One guy's leaving. One guy says he's coming. We're putting them both on the cover. Suck it. I think it targets 2 fan bases. It targets the hardcore, us, and it gets the casual that doesn't watch it, but they watch it.
Then they can't call it Legendary Edition. They have to call it something else.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And if they do that, then that's what they do. That would piss me off, in my opinion. It would piss off a lot of people.
It's because we're the hardcore fan base.
Yeah. I think casuals would be pissed off too.
I don't think if Coach Prime is on that front cover with Nick Saban, I don't think they'd be pissed off either.
Yeah, but I don't care about the fact those 2 being on the cover. It's the fact that the idea of being on the cover and then calling it Legendary Edition. They can't call that Legendary Edition. You're sending the wrong message.
maybe. Well, we know Dion is legendary in his own right. You know what I'm saying?
But he's not a legendary coach.
He's not a legendary coach in Colorado. He's a legendary coach in the state of Texas.
Okay. He's a legendary 4-win coach at the best level of college football.
That's fine.
No.
He believes he's coming, baby. Big 12,
cool.
we coming. We coming, baby.
Okay, well, let me know when he's here, and then we can start talking. But anyway, Tim, we got to wrap up.
Yes, sir.
Out of here.
Yeah.
Tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me at Tim Wayne on Twitter. As you can see, is just scrolling by. Hit me up. Listen, what I can't wait to see, and what I've been starting to see, is all the people coming out of the fucking woodworks with their cover art, and I like that. I want to see more of that.
I'm excited about it.
So if you have cover, if you guys are editors or you guys are Photoshop gods, okay, man, like send us, tweet us at Longhorn Fan Battle. It's right there. Send us your cover art. I don't want to say we'll judge it, but we could talk about it, like why you feel like X, Y, and Z should be on the cover. That would be dope. Next week, I know exactly where my cover for NCAA football is with the Vince Young cover. I'm gonna bring that out so people can see that, because that is something that a lot of people have not seen. That is an official. It's an official cover, but it's not official. It's more of a. I believe the Longhorn staff and the Longhorn team got that cover. Luckily, I was able to get it from one of the EA employees that were heavily involved within that within the game. So
super dope.
Yeah, so man, it's one of the great things. I still have a couple strategy guides from NCAA football. So like I'm gonna bring that stuff out.
Hold on. We'll talk about what are you buying strategy guides for NCAA for, Tim?
I got it from people at EA. What they would do, they would just give that stuff to me, dog. They would be like, "Oh yeah, I heard you really like college football. Here you go."
That's right.
I'm like, "Yo, dog, thanks." You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, thank you. So yeah, man, I'm gonna pull some of that stuff out, man. Throw it up. I actually want to reach out to Mike McFadden, because I know he got some gems as well. It would be great to maybe we could get him on.
I just thought about that. I'll reach out to the
employee. Yeah. Maybe we could get him on. We know he worked more in Madden, but he also, was there around the time that NCAA was around and thriving. So it'd be nice to have him on. But yeah, hit me up at Tim Wayne. Shoot us your cover art if you're a photo editor, or if you're really good at editing. Yeah, let's see what you got, man. I'd love to talk about it.
Dope. And you can find me at the Uncle Gandhi, of course. Also find us both at LH Fan Battle. Tim puts up the important stuff, and I put out the trash talk. So see us out LH Fan Battle. But hey, between now and next week, my name's Harish. That's my guy, Tim Wayne.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Gabriel.
Go home. Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle to the